Hey, how y'all doing today? Welcome back to the Financially Fit Podcast. I am your host, Andre Creighton. For those that are new, welcome to the show. For those that are returning, I'm glad you're back with me. We have a fun one today. I know to this point we've talked a lot about debt and credit reports and all those things. Not the things that are very fun to talk about, right? Because there's usually a lot of things that you're looking to fix, right? But today we're actually going to talk about why you should have a financial advisor, okay? But first, like always, I like to tell you a little bit about my story and kind of my journey with financial advising. When I graduated college, I lived with a friend prior to graduating named Max. We were really good friends and still are today. He went into financial advising, and he was someone that I felt I could trust. Right? We talk about trust, and he got into financial advising, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it a try. Right? So I started out with him, and really kind of delved into, it was somewhere where we were learning together, right? He was new on the job. Obviously he had a mentor in the career field that he was going into. And I didn't know much about this. My parents had never worked with a financial advisor. Grandparents never worked with a financial advisor. There was really no one in my corner that had ever worked with a financial advisor. So this was my first experience. Kind of my first steps with working with a financial advisor is I took out a life insurance policy. And I don't share a lot about my finances or dollar amounts and things like that, but I am going to share this. So one of the things for me was when I got that first job at 22, I wanted to take out $1 million life insurance policy. And part of the reason why I wanted a $1 million life insurance policy is, God forbid something happens to me. I wanted to make sure that my family was good, right? I wanted to make sure that my parents, that house that they had could be paid off, that they could go and travel and do lots of different things. And so that was important to me. Obviously, I want to be here on earth, and I'm glad that I'm still here. But in the event that something did happen, I wanted to make sure that my people could uh, live their life to the fullest and not have to worry about finances. As I talked about in prior episodes, my parents have kind of always lived paycheck to paycheck while they were, very hardworking individuals. Just money was always something that, that they didn't come from families that were very well off. So they were always kind of trying to get over the hump, right? And I think that's kind of some of the things that we see a lot with, diverse individuals is that, every generation you're trying to do better than the prior generation. So that's why I'm here today. I want to help, all people, but especially the people, I relate to the people that look like me and the people that are really trying to set themselves on a path different than where their parents were, their grandparents or their grandparents' parents, et cetera, et cetera. So diving back into that story, my friend Max ended up leaving, right? So then I was stuck, and I really had to find someone that I trust. So I went and I met with different financial advisors, and some kind of fit, what I was looking for and fit the mold of what I was hoping to find in a financial advisor, and some didn't. At the end of the day, you have to realize that financial advisors work for you, right? They work for you. So whatever you want out of a financial advisor, you should get and not settle for anything less. So that's a little bit about my story and experience. We'll talk a little bit more about some of the things as I'm kind of diving into why you should work with financial advisors. The next thing I want to talk about is the things you should look for in a financial advisor. So I talked a little bit about trust, right? Trust is huge. When you're talking about the money that you work so hard for every single day, you think about time away from your family, time away from the home that you spent a lot of money on and invested in, whether it's a house that you purchased or apartment that you're paying way too much for. You put a lot of money and effort into making sure that you have a roof over your head, right? you should be able to have someone in your corner that's going to be managing or guiding you through where you should be putting your money that you trust. That's number one. If you don't have someone that you trust, you need to move on and find someone that you can trust. For me, uh, I've always kind of been in the realm of I want someone that's going to tell me what I should do and outline all of the things and what I should be, give me the playbook, right? Give me the playbook and let me make my own decisions, right? Tell me what you think I should do, but let me make the decision. I'm not really a person that likes individuals telling me I should do this and you have to do this. You don't have to do anything. It's your money, you know? But I find that one, it helps me when individuals that I work with understand that I'm going to make the decision, that I'm going to do the research based on the things they give me, because not only it helps me learn, right? It helps me learn where my money's going. And I think that's the key to success, right? If you're giving someone blindly money, right? So say you have $50 and your friend comes to you and says, "Hey, give me $50, and I'll turn it into $1,000 in a year." And you might ask yourself, well, how are you going to do that? And your friend's like, oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Oh, it's just going to happen. Would you do it? I don't think you would, right? That's the same thing with a financial advisor. There's lots of different ways for your money to grow, but you need to be a part of that growth, right? You need to be a part of that strategy to grow your money. You need to understand and be knowledgeable around where your money is being put into and how it's being used. So trust is huge for me. So I've moved on from a lot of financial advisors. I've had about four financial advisors in my lifetime, um, and I've moved on from a couple just simply because they didn't meet the need of what I wanted out of them. I wanted someone that could truly guide me, but also give me the ability to learn with them where they were utilizing my money. So let's talk about why you should work with a financial advisor. The why. You know, um, I think there's a lot of people that, when you graduate college, you're not thinking about life insurance, right? You're not thinking about some of those things that preventative. You're not thinking about the preventative side of your finances, right? It's similar to, a lot of us have health insurance, right? And you go for your annual, or at least you're supposed to go for your annual physicals and things like that. That's preventative, right? Because your doctor's checking to make sure that you're healthy and that there's not something chronically that's happening that needs to be addressed right away. And that's the same with with your financials, right? You want to be in the best financially fit space possible, just like you want to be physically fit. You want to be financially fit. And in order to do so, you have to take on those preventative measures. And life insurance is one of those things. Now, there's lots of different ways that life insurance looks. It could be term insurance, it could be whole life insurance, it could be universal life insurance. There's all different types of vehicles, and they all are different. You might hear some people say, well, whole life insurance is a scam. I'm not a fan of it. And for some people, it might not make sense. For me, I do have term and I do have whole life. Now, a lot of people might say, well, whole life, it's the interest rate's not even moving at the rate of inflation. And I understand that though. It's a part of my strategy, right? And I love it because it's liquid. I love it because it's tax free when if I need to take out money to go and buy a car or buy a house or use it for whatever I may need to use it for, the money, it's taking out a loan against your death benefit and you can always pay it back. I like that. Now, I understand that I could put that money into, stocks or ETFs or things like that, and I could make way more money and make my money work for me. And that's a part of my strategy as well. I do those things as well. But for me, I like having term and I like having whole life. I'm not telling you that you need to have those things. This is just what I like to do. Um, So the preventative measures are very important. I encourage everyone, if you don't have life insurance, you need to have some form of life insurance. Most of your employers will give you some type of life insurance. Typically, it's, you know, 3 to 5 times your salary or something like that. But the reality is, you need to think about, is that enough to help your family if something does happen to you? Is that enough to cover your expenses for your funeral? Is that enough to cover your home? Is that enough to put your kids through college if that's what your ambitions are? Some of those things, and we need to be forward thinking about those things. That's kind of, and it's hard to do that when you're in your 20s, right? But what I will tell you is that it's important to do it as early as possible, because you don't know what health is going to look like um, a few years from now. I'll to kind of talk a little bit about that, and I'm not going to dive very deep into this, but I'm going to share this story with you. Back in, I've always been a pretty healthy individual. I've been an athlete all my life. You know, I've been three-sport athlete, played in college, et cetera, et cetera. Um, but in 2018, um, I was diagnosed with hypertension. And I know that, this runs pretty prevalently in our Black community. Both my parents, it runs in my family genes. And if I were to go and apply for life insurance right now, it would be very hard for me to get a policy, right? If I had not done those things when I was 22 and got that $1 million policy, I would be in a very, very unfavorable situation right now. So I tell you that, while you're healthy now and you may be 22 and living life, or, get the things in order now, because you never know what it's going to look like in the future. Um, the next thing I want to talk about is, a lot of people ask, can you have more than one financial advisor? Absolutely. Absolutely. And I encourage it. Let me tell you why. So I have two financial advisors. I work with an individual over at New York Life that I've had for a long time, and love him. Gordy's great. He does a great job. Him and Cody, and we have the type of relationship where they explain, some of the things they think I should do, and they give me the time to go back and do the research and read through and make sure that this is something that makes sense to me, and ask questions if it doesn't. And they really walk me through what the plan is, and I really appreciate that. So we have a really, really good working relationship. So I continue to work with them, and I've been working with them since my mid 20s. um Fast forward, I'm 32 now. 7 8 years later, I'm at a different point in my life, right? I own a business. I'm a high school football coach. I podcast. I do all these things. Like my streams of revenue are multifaceted in comparison to where I was in my mid 20s. And now I work with another financial advisor as well, over at Waveform, and I just started working with them recently, and I like them because they're very forward thinking. Now that doesn't mean that New York Life isn't forward thinking. Gordy and Cody are, and they do a great job, right? Um, but I also like the team over here because now I get to compare what both people are giving me, right? And say, okay, well, what are the similarities? What are the differences? Why are there differences? Is it just different in approach? Um, why are these different things here? Why, if they're saying similar things, then that gives me a little bit more confidence, right? But I think it's important to have a couple different people that you trust, and I think it's important to be able to compare those and make sure that they're, connect the dots and see the parallels. So a lot of people ask the question around, does it cost to have a financial advisor? Uh, in some instances, it can. But for me, I don't pay any of my financial advisors anything. They get paid based on the vehicles and products that I buy. I obviously pay, if I'm doing stocks or investing in certain things like that. Like there's expense costs for when you sell and sell stocks and things like that. But for the most part, I'm not paying like a monthly fee for them to, manage my account or something like that. So there are options out there for people that if you're looking for a financial advisor that's going to be a part of, helping you put together a portfolio, that can be pretty inexpensive. So, to recap, I just want to say that, it's if you don't have a financial advisor, you should get one. If you're worried about your finances and where you are because you have a lot of debt and you're embarrassed about it, they work with hundreds of thousands of clients, right? They've seen people from all over the scale, people that have, very low credit scores, tons of debt, to people that are doing excellent and all in between, right? And, their job is to make sure that they help you, you know, with this chapter of your life, but also looking at the big picture of your story. So I would encourage you to, if you can look past some of that embarrassment and try to work with a financial advisor, it's very important. I think that you'll find a lot of good that can come out of being able to work with someone and have, kind of use them in a partnership to be able to understand what are some of the things you should do to grow your money. So I hope that was helpful. If you need recommendations on a financial advisor, I'm more than willing to help you. You can comment on the YouTube link, if you're watching this live, or you can email me. I will drop my email somewhere down on the YouTube video, but I think, just make sure that if you need advice or you need a recommendation, I'm more than willing to do it. Okay. As I always say, it's not about how much money you make, it's about how much money you keep, and a financial advisor will help you do so. So once again, thank you for being here today. I am your host, Andre Creighton, and I look forward to talking to you again. Have a great day.
It's not just another day in your life. Things are changing for the better. At Comcast, we see those changes, and we're thinking about how we use technology today to live, work, learn, and play. And we're building for the future now, so we're better prepared for the wants and needs of tomorrow. That's why Comcast is rolling out multi-gig internet speeds to more than 50 million homes and businesses before the end of 2025, making our already industry-leading network even faster, smarter, greener, and more reliable. Over the decades, Comcast has been your partner, working hard to serve your community, and will continue to be your partner. We're expanding our gigabits so you can enjoy the tiny bits that matter most.
Hi, I'm Shaletta Brundage. I'm a media personality, podcaster, and a business owner. But my most important role is mom. 3 of my beautiful kids have been diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. When I didn't know who to trust or where to turn, I found ACRA. ACRA provides home care services to families all over Minnesota. The care is not one size fits all. They know each one of my kids is unique. They listen to what resources we needed and what's best for our family. I've seen my kids grow and thrive with ACRA's in-home care. While autism is the most common diagnosis among ACRA clients, ACRA offers personalized in-home care services for people with disabilities, chronic illnesses, behavioral diagnosis, and mental illness. They work with children, adolescents, and older folks too. Find out more about ACRA at their website, acrahomecare.org. ACRA helps me provide my kids with a better quality of life. They can do it for your family too.
Do you worry that lead-based paint in your older home might be dangerous to your children or kids who visit you? Well, Hennepin County put those fears to rest. Hennepin County offers free lead tests and home assessments. If they find anything, eligible homeowners and landlords can receive up to $15,000 for work on the home, including new windows. The government banned lead-based paint 45 years ago when it was discovered that lead poisoning can affect development and cause permanent damage in young children. But 75% of those homes built before 1978 still contain some lead-based paint. As the paint degrades, it can make dust that little kids ingest when they're crawling and putting things in their mouths. So make sure your home is safe and hazard-free. Learn about testing and that $15,000 grant at hennepin.us/lead control. That's hennepin.us/lead control.
COVID-19 is still going around, and even a mild case can be serious during pregnancy. So what should you do if you're pregnant and have a positive COVID test? First, reach out to your doctor or healthcare provider. There might be treatment options they can recommend. That includes giving you a prescription for an antiviral drug you take in pill form by mouth. If you haven't gotten a COVID vaccine, it's not too late. Doctors say vaccinations are safe in any trimester, but the sooner the better. Pregnancy can be a time of great joy and anticipation, so take good care so you and your baby are healthy. And congratulations. You know Shaletta makes you laugh, but did you know Shaletta Brundage can also make you think and boost your business? Media personality, activist, and comedian Shaletta Brundage founded Shaletta Makes Me Laugh to celebrate and share the best of Black culture. It's a podcasting platform. You can download 10 weekly podcasts hosted by African American subject experts at ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com is also a production house, creating broadcast quality commercial content. And Shaletta and her team of storytellers create powerful promotional campaigns to get businesses the brand awareness they're looking for. Some of Minnesota's top businesses trust Shaletta, and you can too. Get out the word about your events and products and get in front of communities of color with ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com. She's got the power to help your business.